2020 was a year in which our parishioners and people of faith around the world experienced fear and isolation, economic and health threats, and too much time on Zoom. As Father Greg wrote in his Thanksgiving pastoral letter, we have lived through a deeply divisive presidential campaign, the beginning of a soul-wrenching reckoning on racial injustice, and, for those in many parts of the country, severe climate change-related disasters. 2020 has, in other words, deeply challenged our faith.
I never appreciated going to Mass in person. I have never not been able to do that.
I would say the biggest challenge has been feeling that sense of connection.
One of the biggest challenges with COVID-19 has been not able to see the people that we see every Sunday at Mass.
My medical doctors are disinclined for me to go into interior spaces.
Most theaters, most performing arts venues are closed, especially those involving, singing or any kind of wind instruments, are not allowed to perform.
And yet, St. Ignatius Parish, with your generous support, has provided a lifeline to the faithful and those in need during these unpredictable times.
My name is Liz Farrell.
I'm Jazz Miner.
My name is Mike Neary.
My name is Gail Priestley.
My name's Kevin Navarro.
Each of these individuals has been given a spiritual lifeline thanks to your support this year.
Well, my daughter went through the confirmation program, and then as an 8th grader, COVID hit, and along with graduation and confirmation, everything was kind of put on hold or done differently, and confirmation was one of those things. But then we're able to go inside and say a little prayer together as a family and take some photos. It turned out to be quite an amazing spiritual experience. One in particular, I think, will stick with her for her lifetime.
It was a real step out of my comfort zone to call neighbor to neighbor. But when I had some medical procedures that required a ride home, and I didn't have anyone who could do that for me, that's where I went. But we have other people who need help in buying groceries and delivering groceries.
At first, my sister was doing the shopping, and then her primary care physician said, you probably are as at risk as your brother. Some of the neighbor-to-neighbor volunteers, they're good people, and you know that you can trust them.
We had recently had a parish retreat on antiracism, and that was also, frankly, way more fulfilling than I thought it was going to be. It was deeply thought-provoking and a game changer in a lot of ways.
St. Ignatius, I think, is like one of the only churches at least in San Francisco, that does a virtual concert series. We have people who watch these concerts from Kuwait and from Europe. It's just crazy. I mean, we would have never connected with some of the people who now watch these concerts.
I live in San Marcos, Texas, which is basically exactly between San Antonio and Austin. It was natural for me to say, oh, well, St. Ignatius is a big church. Let me see if they're streaming. And so that's how I was able to attend Mass for the first time I'd ever done that. One thing that was unique to the Mass at St. Ignatius Parish, when I came back to it after a couple months, is that the Our Father is all together on Zoom. And I thought that was a very beautiful way to do it. This is a beautiful thing for people who, for lots of reasons, we also work in my job with people with disabilities, and you can't go out, So I thank St. Ignatius for doing this.
I would love to give a shout out to those on the staff who have worked all these months to keep us spiritually engaged. It's been truly an effort that fills what could have been a huge void in our lives. I've been astounded.
I'm very grateful to all the churches who have streamed. I know that it's an additional burden on parishes at a time when often they're actually getting less daily donations. Some of that is, of course, so many people have lost their jobs and aren't working. And I really do get choked up about that.
Thank you so much for all of those who have supported our church and our parish and our staff. And we're grateful for you and blessed to have you.
I am just in awe the whole way that the parish has responded to the quarantine, continuing to provide the spiritual nourishment that the parish has provided for years and years and years.
This is what we do. We help one another. We reach out to one another. We look out for one another. This is beautiful. It's sacred. And I am deeply grateful